Welcome into the CFP Roundtable. We're going to recap week two winners and losers. We're also going to react to the AP Top 25 poll. I am your host, CFP Talk on Twitter, and I am fixing to bring in my co host, CFP Season. He's also on Twitter. What's up, Season?
What's up, man? What's up, man?
Doing
Hey,
good, buddy?
I'm doing great, bro. We had a good day of NFL, man. I can't complain. I'm ready to recap week two with you.
Yeah, I got the Cowboys and Browns on right now, but I'm
Me
looking
too.
forward to that Sunday night game.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
the Deshaun Watson still looks kind of bad.
Yeah, he does. He looks real
Man,
bad.
one thing
That'd
I
be
noticed, one thing I noticed about the NFL before we jump into college football is that a lot of the teams are still having the same mistakes. Like a lot of the teams from from last year, I feel like they didn't really improve too much.
yeah,
They look very similar. A lot of these teams from last year.
same
Same
same stuff,
problems.
different story.
Yep, that's the one
I
thing I picked up with the NFL.
yeah, the Texans to me look to just before we jump into it, but not to overreact, but they just got so many weapons, man.
They do, they do.
I mean, Diggs, Collins, Mixon. I mean, it's
Tank
just
Dell,
Tank Dale. I don't even know if he did anything today, really, but he's on
yeah,
there too. That's what he's one. That's one of the reasons I actually didn't draft him was because I was too scared the ball wasn't gonna get spread around. It was gonna get too spread around.
I'm nervous
But
about that too with the Texans.
yeah. Well, all right. Well, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna react to week two, have some winners and losers. Um, I guess I'll start if you want me to.
Yeah, let's
Um,
start.
so my first winner was Tennessee. I just like it wasn't really about the opponent. It was more so about because I'm not that high on North Carolina State. I don't think they're that great. But it was more of how they won the game and like doing it in the fashion they did it. Being 51-10, and like it wasn't all Nico. They ran the ball for 249 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and then the defense had like 13 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. So they did it in like all kind of different phases of the game.
And they still looking to run the ball, Tennessee.
Yeah.
44 carries for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns. You could tell they still want to be a Russian attack team.
Yep. Yep.
And you're
And
right. You're right. The way that the game went down, like I remember checking my phone on the score updates for this game. I remember it would be like 10-3, then it was 17-3, then it was like 24-3. It just Tennessee kept on getting stops and just kept on adding on. It was an impressive win for sure
yeah.
for Tennessee. They definitely a winner from week two.
Yeah, there's somebody I think that's going to be a problem going down the road. They got a pretty easy cupcake coming up. I don't remember who it is, but then they got a big test against Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma's offense is that good, but their defense seems to be pretty legit. So I'm excited to see in a couple of weeks how they do. The other winner I had, this is kind of a weird one, but it's with as many upsets that there was and how we left Saturday night kind of going, is anybody good other than Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas?
Mhm.
I left like thinking UGA fans came out the biggest winner because they had to have been sitting on the couches Saturday. It got to be about midnight and go, dang, it's like we're a shoe in
I remember
to
I
win.
remember talking to you about that. I was like, man, if you're a Georgia fan, you gotta be feeling really, really confident right now. I feel like Georgia's heads and toes above everybody else right now. They're the most complete team. You're right. I think the Georgia fans are definitely winning right now.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't have any injuries yet, right? Y'all didn't suffer no injuries.
Only biggest one is probably Michaela Williams, the edge rusher. He
Yeah.
hurt himself in the Clemson game, but from what I've understand, I think it's just a high sprain, ankle sprain.
So that's
Uh,
another thing. Y'all not having too many big injuries too, as
yeah,
well. So that's
yeah,
another.
and you can make a case that it's not just UGA fans, but I'd say Texas, Ohio State fans being big winners. Like those three fan bases together, probably are all sitting at home going, "Yeah, we're going to be the national champion this year."
Which fan base you think should feel more confident right now? Texas.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, Texas. I
Even
think.
even with
Yeah.
Big Bad Georgia in the conference.
If I think like a fan, like trying to think like what a fan would think
Yeah.
yeah, because they all think they can beat, we all think we can beat everybody. But
Who you think gives Georgia more of a test? Texas and the athletes, or maybe Ohio State got a lot of athletes too.
yeah.
Like who gives Georgia more of a threat?
So since I'm not totally bought into Will Howard yet, I would lean Texas because if you look back, even when Kirby was the Bama DC, the thing that gave him and Nick trouble, no matter what, was elite quarterback and elite
Yeah,
receivers.
I used to always say that you need a Heisman
Yeah,
type quarterback to beat Nick Saban and Kirby.
yeah.
He,
So
he's,
I think Quinn's that.
he's closer to it. I would
Yeah.
agree. He's closer.
If you're asking me to pick between him and Will Howard,
See, with
I'm not
Ohio
that scared
State
of Will Howard.
and Ohio State's schedule might come back to haunt them.
Yeah.
They're not getting battle tested.
I'm probably more scared of Ohio State's defense
Hmm.
than I am Texas's defense, but I'm more scared of Texas' offense than I am Ohio State's.
Which is crazy to think too, because
Yeah.
Ohio
But
State
it's
got all
only yeah. It's only because of quarterback play. Like I'm scared of the receivers
yeah,
and I'm scared of Juckins. Like I'm scared of that.
Anderson and Henderson.
Yeah, and Henderson. So um another winner I had, I only picked three, but um even though I don't think Colorado's that good, I think the fact that Nebraska, this was their first win versus a P4 non-conference since 2016, and it is their first 2-0 start since 2016.
Wow,
And
that's
I
huge.
think, I think that makes them like a huge winner from yesterday. Even though, I don't think Colorado's going bowling. I don't, I don't think they're that improved. But I mean, still, Nebraska lost that game last year, and typically they lose these games. So the fact that they're 2-0, first time since 2016, I think they're a huge winner. And that atmosphere last night, dude, was wild.
Man, how about week two? Week two was
Yeah,
a jam, dog. They had
yeah,
so many close, competitive one-score games across the
hmm
country. They also had a lot of games where it was a lot of comebacks, a lot of coaching adjustments at halftime. I felt like week two was just in general like so competitive across the country for the most part. For the most part, you've seen a lot of games going into deep late in the wire. A lot of teams on upset alert. And I remember we were talking about that too. Like just a lot of teams are kind of struggling with some problems right now. Like
yeah.
you get like if it's here or there, it's something. A lot of teams are not complete. I mean, Georgia's obviously complete. But you can make an argument there's not too many teams that are like just complete right now.
Oh yeah. I was on Twitter earlier today and seen a headline, and the headline was "Is anybody good in college football?" Um, but I was thinking about it earlier.
There's not a lot of bad teams right now, though. Like just in general across the board, they're kind of just struggling early in the season. Still got a lot of work to do, a lot of work to clean up.
Yeah.
It feels more than normal.
It feels like also like I think we were having this conversation last year around like I thought I remember sometime last year we were wondering was anybody good because Alabama was struggling, Ohio State wasn't that great, Penn State obviously was bad or not bad, but they weren't impressive. USC was bad. I feel like we were having that conversation last year, and then Michigan, and then the conversation was like, is Michigan really that good? But
Yeah, that
I definitely think it's Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, not in that order, and then there's a gap.
yeah. Well, I think there's Georgia, then a big gap,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
those, then Ohio State, or then Ohio State, Texas, then a gap again.
yeah. You said it, not me, because I'm not going to be the homer.
Yeah, I said it, man. I said it. I don't think anyone's beating Georgia right now. No one's
Yeah,
beating Georgia right now, though. I don't see it.
yeah.
Uh,
Um, Before I go to the losers, did you have any winners other than Tennessee, UGA fans, and Nebraska?
I was just looking, man, at the slate in a whole, and for the most part, I think I agree with those three winners. Um, I was thinking it's kind of tough though. It's kind of tough because a lot of these teams are playing nobodies too.
Mhm.
But I agree. I agree with those three winners that we talked about.
So I have on the losers. We talked about this a lot last night. I kind of didn't want to put them on here because we talked about it last night, but I don't know who can't be a bigger loser than Notre Dame.
Right, right. And I didn't watch the film yet on this one. I
Yeah,
want to go back and do a deep dive on this. My question is this: is this a hangover from a huge week one performance, or was this legitly getting your ass beat physically at the line, losing in the trenches, all that stuff, you know?
yeah. I haven't rewatched the game, which I'm not the X and O guy as you is, so I don't know what good it would do for me to rewatch it. But I did do a lot of reading on it. I just personally, I think think especially with the Texas A&M game, we when we left that game, we were thinking, um, was Texas A&M's defense just that legit? Notre Dame's offense, was just getting stopped by a really great defense. But I think after 2 weeks now, I think it's safe to say Notre Dame's offense is just not that good.
Yeah, too
And
conservative.
Riley, yeah. Well,
Riley's
we
game man.
talked about this last night. We think the O line's good. We think the running back's good.
Yeah,
We think they have maybe one receiver. Again, it's the
yeah,
quarterback.
it's quarterback play.
Um,
It's crazy how a quarterback play can hold back a whole offense.
yeah,
But man, it's not crazy if you think about it. But like, you see it happen way too often.
yeah.
Bad quarterback play is a handicap for offenses.
Because if you took like, I'm trying not to be too crazy and pick something stupid like Carson Beck, but like if
Gary
you took,
Nussmeyer, put Nussmeyer on
yeah,
Notre,
yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's
put
perfect.
Nussmeyer on Notre Dame. Notre Dame probably goes
Uh,
undefeated.
undefeated with that schedule,
Undefeated.
undefeated, and probably wins a playoff game.
So look, we have a comment right here. Who's winning it all?
Oh, I see that.
All right, it's nothing. Man, I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs to win it all this year.
I hate that.
Hey,
I
don't,
hate to be
hey
the
man,
homer,
keep in
but
mind,
yeah, I'm gonna go Georgia. I think
yeah,
just based
Georgia's
off 2 weeks.
too deep, too complete right now. A
Yeah,
lot of teams, yeah, they're gonna be tough.
definitely think though that Ohio State has a chance and Texas has a chance. I still want to see from Texas. I still want to see what the defense looks like when it faces a quarterback.
Yeah,
The biggest struggle they had last year was they were one of the worst teams in passing defense. And I don't think we've been able to see if that's been fixed yet because they faced two really bad uh, quarterbacks. They haven't really faced any quarterback worth anything yet. So, and they probably won't till, I guess, Oregon. I don't. It depends on what your opinion is of Dylan. Um, or
cool.
not. I mean, not Oregon. Sorry, I was thinking Ohio State. Um, Texas won't face a good quarterback until they go against Georgia, Carson Beck.
Yeah,
Um, and then we'll find out. We'll find out for sure if Texas's defense is fixed on the pass defense. He comments that I'd like to see Georgia, Ohio. I would love to see that too.
yeah. So that was my preseason pick. Was Georgia, Ohio State. That was my preseason national championship pick. Those are the two best teams. Obviously, Will Howard is very conservative with his play. That's the reputation, obviously, he gets. Um, so it's going to come down to if Howard's going to be just enough to keep defenses on us and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I agree
'Cause, I
with
mean,
that.
you've seen in the NFL, you've seen in the NFL teams win Super Bowls with game managers.
Hmm.
They don't happen. They don't happen often, but it can happen. But so
Yeah,
Will Howard, in order to beat Georgia, he's gonna have to make on throws with his arm, though. He's gonna have to do more than just the game manager style play.
I agree
And
with
so
you.
yeah, Notre Dame's a big loser. I was just man, bad. That's a bad loss. Bad loss.
Yeah,
Especially
bad.
at home, man.
Yeah,
At
and
home, coming off a huge win, everyone thought Notre Dame was like from now what you've seen. What's your outlook on Notre Dame moving forward? Do you see them kind of like just only losing one game, cleaning this up, go like 11-1, or now you kind of like, oh shit, they might lose 3-4 games?
I hate to overreact, but yeah, I'm leaning towards losing multiple games.
Yeah,
Just because of the quarterback.
so
It's the same
that's
song and
atrocious.
dance. Yeah. I sound frustrated like I'm a Notre Dame fan. It's only because as a college football fan, a lot of people hate Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I've, I grew up as a kid watching Rudy, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like 5'10", 145, so Rudy was like my hero. Um, and I love Notre Dame as a kid, and I don't know, I want to see them do good, and it's extremely frustrating that they keep every single year putting a product out there that just is just so bad offensively or quarterback play wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just to me they're the biggest loser of the weekend. The other loser I had, I think it's got to be Sam Pittman.
Whew. That's
Yeah,
a. It was crazy too because the offense was doing anything they wanted with Oklahoma State. It felt like they could have put up 70, but man, they got out coached in that second half.
I think
They got out coached in that second half. The
yeah, I
coaching
think it
was really on big display.
yeah, I think it was Bus that mentioned they had like 600 plus yards
They had
offense or something like
they
that.
had 600 something yards, man. What was it like 400? Might have pulled up the box maybe, but like I remember, yeah, in the first half, I remember they flipped the script completely. In the first half,
Hmm.
Arkansas was running the rock, man. Oklahoma State couldn't tackle a lick. And then in the second half, they shut down the run game, but then they couldn't stop the pass game to save their life.
Yeah, yeah,
It
they
was like,
had
but like,
yeah,
how does Oklahoma State not be able to stop the run when you practice against Gordon every day? You seen what I
I know.
do
Yeah,
that? Like, come on, bro, that should be your bread and butter, stopping the run. You got to face Gordon every day.
yeah, 648 yards, and
Yeah,
Oklahoma State only had 385. I have it pulled up also. Like I won't name all of them. Well, maybe I will, but here's the
and
things that happened. Or
what
go
they
ahead.
were doing, was very simple. Yeah, Arkansas.
Hmm.
They weren't doing anything like really crazy, really crazy. It was like bad run fits. Oklahoma
Yeah,
State was struggling with their run fits. It was just like hitting them with inside zone, outside. Like it was simple stuff.
yeah, and they had so here's a lot of the self-inflicted mistakes. They had the Jackson kid had a fumble. Green he mishandled multiple snaps, missed a wide open touchdown,
He had a
shanked a
pick,
40.
he had
Yeah,
a pick six early in the game.
yeah,
It would have been a
um,
14-point swing. Arkansas would have went up 21 nothing. I think
yeah.
that pick six was huge.
Yeah, they had a shanked 41-yard field goal, a muffed punt return, a dropped interception in the red zone.
Here's one. How many penalties? Here's one. How many
Um,
penalties?
let's see.
Who won the penalty battle?
Where they had a pair of pass interferences and a personal foul penalty in double overtime. They had 7 penalties to Oklahoma State's 6.
Yeah. So Sam, that was on national television too. That performance was
Yeah,
Sam.
and
Damn,
yeah,
bro.
I
You
just
know how bad that staff's hurting after that game? They had that game in the bag.
yeah, because you coach the game, so you may know, or you can
It
explain to
hurts.
people.
It hurts to lose something like that, bro. Whenever you have
Yeah,
it in the bag and you lose,
it's got to feel like when you go into the locker room or when you get home from that kind of game that you're just like, we lost that game. We didn't.
yeah,
They didn't win it.
eats
We
you up.
just lost it.
Eats you up. Yeah, for sure.
You know.
But
Uh,
so Pittman's another big loser of the week.
yeah. The other one I had, last one, Oregon Ducks. Um, I don't know what is going on with them. I don't know if it's because I just was too. I don't think it was crazy that I picked them to play in the national championship. It looks like that now, but I didn't expect 2 weeks of just their offensive line's not blocking too well. They're not real explosive. Uh, Defense is getting gashed, which the Boise State running back's a legit Heisman contender. Um, and he's like a first round draft pick. But I don't know, man. It's just I'm Oregon Ducks and Notre Dame. I may be more disappointed in Oregon than I am Notre Dame, just because I don't know what to think of them.
Not me, however, because they still winning. You remember
Yeah,
how we said about a win? It's a lot better to clean up mistakes with a win. I, now it's not looking good out right now though. Um, they scraping by,
yeah,
Uh,
that is a good point. Though you're absolutely right.
so
That,
like
that-
I think here's my thing. Imagine this Oregon team come November. I think it's going to be a completely different team, probably. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. It
If
could
you-
be we could be looking back and it's like, we just completely forget the two first games.
you could. It's a lot better to clean up mistakes with the win. As long as they win, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
Uh,
and they have Oregon State coming up, and I think they're favored by like 13 and a half. So it's not a big, I mean, it's a big spread, but it's not like 20. I think that's a perfect opportunity in a game to come in and like
what was you could post
dominate.
what was the box for that one? What did Dylan finish with in this one here? Because I remember last in week one he was like 41 for 49. Remember that in week one for like
Yeah, yeah.
300 yards?
I
I was
think his stats is right here.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would get a little bit more intermediate passing game involved and a little bit more chunk plays.
18 for 21,
That's okay.
240, 243,
There we go. That's
two
that's
TDs, zero interceptions.
that's better than
Yeah, that is better.
what about
Evan Stewart, 5 for 112.
5 for 112 for Evans? What Taz Johnson?
He had oh 3 receptions, -1 yards.
Wow, Taz had a bad game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so that was my biggest losers. Did you have any other? You just agree with those, or you had any additional
So
losers?
man, so Alabama. Were you watching the Alabama game when it was 14-13 going into the fourth quarter?
Oh yeah, I turned it on as soon as I seen that.
How was what was South Florida doing?
I think it was. I'll say this: South Florida's DC had Alabama's offense in a blender. I don't know. I don't know the X and O's
Wait,
of it, but
I
he
know
had them.
he was cooking.
He was cooking. He had them boys stressing.
I know Alabama ended up pulling away pretty bad with like 21 points in the fourth quarter, but I almost want to say Alabama could be a loser, maybe. I
I
don't want
would
to
agree.
over
They
I don't
were
want to
on. They were.
overact too I don't want to
Yeah,
overact too much, but I may want to label them, especially for their expectations. They
yeah.
consider themselves still a national championship brand, so I think you could consider them almost a loser. They didn't look too good, probably.
I would agree with that. They're similar to like if I'm going to be disappointed in Oregon, uh,
You got to
uh,
be
you
disappointed in
got to be
Alabama.
disappointed in Alabama and Notre Dame too, because I mean, South Florida is better than both the Northern Illinois, but
Now, Boise State
yeah,
was a respectable team. I remember saying that on the
yes,
show. Boise State
yeah,
got Ashton Janney. They still got some athletes and big time players, and they
yeah.
still in a respectful conference in the Mountain West. You know, and they one of the better teams in that conference.
Bama's a great one. If honestly, you just talked me into that. That's who I probably should have put because Boise State was a team that everybody had penciled in to be in the playoffs.
Another
Um,
loser is Colorado.
yeah,
Colorado's the big loser of the week, but
uh,
I had that in my head. I kind of knew that Nebraska was going to have their way a little bit with them.
yeah, yeah. I was watching a Colorado uh, podcast right before the show. It was like an hour long, and man, them boys are like North Korea propaganda. Um, they are just like everything's fine, everything's fine. I'm like, nah, brother, it's not fine. Um, this, if you're losing, not that Nebraska's bad, it's just like you still got to face Arizona. Um, I think they face Utah. Um, it's man, if
Did you hear
would
anything on
the
the Horizon injury?
I have all I heard was fingers. It was his fingers. I don't know what finger or how many fingers, or if it was on his
Yeah,
throwing hand or not.
that's a big injury. We got to keep up with that one.
Yeah, that's someone we need to look at before next week. He stays hurt. That poor guy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. But yeah, Colorado. Do you think? I'm starting to lean towards this at Dion's last year, not because he's fired. I think he's.
Take another job offer, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not saying he's doing this on purpose because I love Dion. I'm like you. I'm a big Dion fan. Um, but following Dion his whole career, I also know it's just. I just have this feeling he's gonna, as soon as the Suns leave,
He,
and
I mean, he's at Colorado.
yeah,
Colorado. they won what one national championship, 1992, I think.
Yeah, long time
Yeah,
ago.
they had that one national championship year, and they might have did another good year right after that year. But I mean, there's no national brand, Colorado. When you think of recruiting 5 stars and shit, imagine Deion Sanders imagine him at the University of Florida. Imagine they
Yeah,
get rid of Billy Napier and they go hire Prime Time, or like you see, give Prime Time a national brand school.
yeah.
I think he because he's already recruiting 5 stars to Colorado. You know how
Hmm.
hard that is. He's probably the only coach that could do that shit.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he would have?
Imagine,
I
yeah. So imagine if he takes a
yeah.
like better facilities, better resources, bigger stadium, better, just everything, more alignment structure. Imagine if he could take
Hmm.
that's one thing I would like to see him maybe if he were to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree on that. All right. The AP top 25 came out. I don't know. I don't hate to do this live, but do you know how I can pull the AP top 25 on here?
Present, you see the present
Present.
button, share screen, and then you type in the website or whatever you want to look up for the top
Present.
25.
Okay. Is it this plus sign right here?
Yeah, the plus sign.
Okay.
I'm about to put in my top 25 votes. I'm gonna put in my poll pretty shortly after this video. I'm gonna start working on it.
Yeah.
I'm moving Texas to 2. I'm moving Texas to number 2. I got Georgia, Texas, Ohio State to round out my top 3.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
I
Texas,
think
and I think Texas earned that number 2 spot. Going at Michigan, the defending champions, going to take it to them.
I think I got I did mine earlier today. I think I got Georgia. I think I left it Georgia, Ohio State, Texas is my top three.
Yeah, you got the right teams. Those 3 are the best teams.
All right. I don't want to delay the thing. I'm not able to figure it out. I might have to practice with that, but I'll just pull it up on my phone
I might
and
be
then
able to pull it up and see.
all right, try. I might have to have some practice.
Present. How we looking?
There we go. Oh, perfect. All right.
Here's the top 5.
I'm surprised Bama didn't drop.
Yeah.
I
Um,
dropped Bama. Let me pull up mine on my phone. I'll tell you where I had Bama.
so I agree with Georgia. I got. I have the same top 3 from my top 25 votes too.
Hmm.
I do agree. Texas should move up to 2. I think they earned that spot with going on the road at Michigan and playing a premier non-conference. I think Ohio State. They still haven't played anybody yet, so I'm okay with Texas above Ohio State.
Hmm.
Ole Miss hasn't played a lick. Ole Miss hasn't played a lick yet. They in the top 5. They in the top
Yeah,
5 strictly off of eye test. They just dominating their opponent. They got a good
that's
off.
me. I had them at 4 just strictly off of eye test.
So that's Ole Miss. Alabama is a little too high. Well,
I
I don't know about too high, but they in this rank. They in this tier of from like 4 through 7ish. That's their
okay.
tier.
I
Where you want
dropped
to put
them.
them?
I dropped them 8.
Okay. All right. I see what you
Yeah.
Missouri, Ole Miss. These 2 teams are very similar, very good offenses.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can make an argument that Tennessee should be ahead of these 2 teams because they scheduled a non-conference.
I
Um,
have Tennessee at number 6 and above Missouri. You're right though. Probably you can make. Yeah, definitely could be
I
above
think,
Ole Miss.
I think we need to favor teams who
Yes, you're right.
schedule up or schedule bigger teams.
Yeah,
I think we should make a point where like you have to schedule. You shouldn't reward a cupcake schedule.
I agree. I'm surprised Miami at 10. That I thought they would be higher.
I feel like it's fair. Miami,
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Um. Let's see, another one, Oklahoma State. I don't know what they were last week. But I
Ooh,
think that's all right.
that Mace, I guess, but
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't too impressed with Bowman.
yeah, I dropped them to 15th. I
Yeah.
have them in the 15 range.
So Oregon keeps
Um,
dropping with their performances. Penn State struggled with Bowling Green. They only won by a touchdown.
yeah,
Um,
I dropped Penn State. I got them at number 10.
uh, they got to clean up some mistakes. USC, what they finished with their win? How they looked
It,
last night.
it was, if I remember right, it was like 40 to nothing.
They
I'll pull
good,
it
good.
up.
I like to see the nutting, the blank.
Yep, 48 to nothing. And Miller Moss was 21 for 30, 229. Had a QBR of 70.
Um,
But yeah, surprised Oklahoma didn't take a little bit of drop because Houston was supposed to be a really bad G5 team this year.
but it's like, look, Utah, they just got an injury with the Cam Rise, and we're gonna have to see how they look and what that is moving forward. Oklahoma State struggled, Kansas State struggled, Oklahoma struggled, LSU struggled in the first half, Michigan struggled, Notre Dame struggled, Louisville they blew out someone last night. Jacksonville
Yeah,
State, look, they blew out Jacksonville State last night. Arizona's defense, bro. Arizona's defense is giving up like 40 points a game, dog.
yeah, their defense is
They
bad. I think
just
I dropped them
they're
too.
just out shooting people with Arizona.
Yeah, I dropped them towards the
They
bottom of the top
oh yeah,
25.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna run into some problems, Arizona, soon with that defense.
Do you think it's crazy? I actually put Boise State at 25, even though they lost, because I was super impressed with how they looked.
They 1-1, Boise State.
Yeah, 1-1. I put
Yeah,
them at 25.
Iowa State's in the top 25, dog.
Yeah,
I'm not putting Iowa State in my top
yeah.
25.
I
Uh,
think I put them at 24 only because I had Iowa at like 24, 25.
I think Nebraska's too low at
I
23.
agree. I agree.
Nebraska's too low, man. They looking actually kind of complete.
Hmm. That defense
Boston,
is,
do they? Wow.
yeah, I couldn't believe they put Northern Illinois. I mean,
They
I
put they
understand.
put Northern Illinois because of Notre Dame.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like either I see why though because they beat them
I
because they,
dropped. Oh,
because they
wow. I
beat
did
them.
the same thing as the AP poll. I dropped them to 18th.
Here's the other
I,
teams receiving votes. Illinois. You see, I would rather Illinois over.
yeah,
I think Illinois should be ranked ahead of Boston College. I
I
think
agree with
Illinois.
that.
I think Illinois should be ranked ahead of Northern Illinois.
I think Memphis is a team
Illinois.
also.
Illinois should be ranked ahead of Iowa State probably.
Hmm.
Who else is receiving votes? Boise State, A&M, Syracuse, Memphis.
Old Vandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Liberty, which they almost lost last night. They pulled it off, but they almost lost. Yeah, but yeah, I think. I mean, I think for the most part they did all right. I think I would have Alabama would have been somebody I dropped. Penn State. Um, I think they're fine. I would have dropped them a little bit. I like where Oregon's at. I think they started the season top 5 or something. Um, then Oklahoma, I probably would have dropped a little bit more. I just haven't been impressed with them through 2 weeks. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if this is crazy. You tell me if this is Stephen A. Smith tape. I almost considered dropping Michigan completely out.
I wouldn't hate you for that at all.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I
17.
almost did.
It's because they keeping them at a respectable tier because of Texas is so high.
I think we as a college football community, I'm not saying with every team you have to do this, but I think sometimes we have to stop using last year
Oh,
as
absolutely.
like
Archery.
my biggest regret for the preseason is and the only reason why I didn't do it is because I didn't want to be labeled as a hot take trying to get clicks. I really actually did not want to put Michigan and FSU in my top 25 because I thought that they were not going to be ranked by the
Do
end of
it,
the season.
do it. Don't be afraid of what you
Yeah,
get vote or anything like that.
something next year. That's something I'm definitely going to do. If I'm really convicted on a team that I know is probably going to finish the season unranked,
Yeah,
I'm just not going to rank them.
and I remember I said this in the after game show, the post game show, is that I think us as a college football community, we just expecting the bigger schools just because they have bigger school, they just to show up and dominate your opponent no matter what.
Yeah,
This is a tough sport at the end of the day. At the end
yeah.
of the day, they still scheming up. They still got athletes on the other side of the ball just as us. But I think we expect teams to just dominate other teams too much.
That's me with Oregon. I think you're like really talking to me there because I'm like Oregon.
It,
I am doom and gloom
it's
on Oregon.
we expect teams to win 49 nothing every
Yeah,
game. It's just
you're right.
hard, man. It's a hard sport.
Absolutely right.
I think
Yeah,
our community needs to lower our expectations a little bit on a lot of programs.
and
A lot of programs.
stop comparing Kirby Smart and Georgia to everything. Like,
Yeah,
because when Kirby retires, Georgia will go back and be just like every other normal college football program.
and some fans literally think like if you go 9-3, you're not a good team. Like,
Yeah,
we got some fans that be thinking that and crap. Like,
I call that I tell my buddy all the time. I think Nick Saban's the goat. I think what he's done for the game of football is amazing. I also think he hurt some things in college football because he changed the expectation level to some unrealistic levels that now fans expect, and it's like you're not getting that unless you have Nick Saban.
yeah, I think at the end of the day, you still have to have purity in your heart,
Yeah,
which we both display.
yeah,
You
and
have
you got people out there thinking Brian Kelly sucks, and it's like
things like
no,
that.
the
Prime example.
guy's a good football coach.
Yeah.
He's a good football coach, and he's going to win a lot of games. I don't know if he's going to win a national championship. Man, it's so hard to win them.
Mhm.
I don't know if he ever will or not. I do know that he's going to win a lot of games, and if the ball bounces a certain way, hey, who knows? Or you get you a quarterback, and it turns out that quarterback's a Cam Newton or Joe Burrow or you know things. It happens. He's still a good coach, and if I was an LSU fan, I'd be pretty happy. All right, I think we pretty much covered it all. You think good there?
Yeah. Yeah. Good little
All
good
right.
little recap show.
Yep, we got about 5 minutes to Sunday night football, and so
Perfect.
I think that
Perfect,
was
man.
pretty good. I think that'd be a good show to do every Sunday. Do a winners
Yeah.
losers.
Yeah, and I'm already ready. Looking for week 3, man. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
Can't wait already.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna get out of here. Just everybody, if you'd like, we do another show Saturday morning. I think it's 8 a.m. Central. No, 7 a.m. Central.
7 Central.
Yeah, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Come join us, and we'll discuss Week 3 games. So with that, we'll sign off.
See you next week.
All right, see you, brother.